at Bandle City, merit badges only get you so far.
I love it.
Underwater basket weaving? Not so practical after all. But if you take your nose out of your handbook, you'll realize there's a lot more to discover.
Love it already.
Like unexpected friends. In unusual places. And there are so many unusual places.
I mean, it was really short, really cute. Yordle, 2-mana 2/2. When I'm summoned, create a cloud stance in hand. It's a burst, 1-cost card. Give an ally 2/0 and round end recall me this round. What? All right, I'll be honest. This would be great if it was 0 mana. At 1 mana though, holy smokes, that's oh, and it's yeah, but why would you want to escape recall with it? Droplet. I gotta see the rest of the cards. There have to be some cards that are really strong at recall. We're gonna come back to this. Yordle, 2-mana 2/2. Tornado Warrior. When I'm summoned, grant me +1/+0 and a random keyword. So it's a 3/2 actually. I'll keep these stat buffs and keywords when I'm recalled. I gotta think about this. It's already good. It's already a good card. I just don't know if this has any recall value, honestly. I don't know if it has recall value as like a win con. Because keep in mind, it's not getting HP from any sources. It dies pretty easily to every removal in the game. You can recall and replay it, but it's like it's a decent unit. It's great for return retreat. I agree. It fits in that deck archetype very well. It's not really a win con. It's a chump blocker, and it's an okay-ish attacker. Tough is good in it, of course. Elusive is good in it as well, for example. But overall, it's okay. It's a decent card. I don't think you really gain value playing the 1-cost burst card we saw before this on it. I don't think you would really want to do that much. Unless this gets quick attack, then you would. Because then you would attack with it, and you can give it burst +2 to give it 5 attack and quick attack. It's pretty strong, so you can just keep it on board. Solid card. Not overpowered in any way. I don't think it is. I still don't see a recall synergy deck being something super, super powerful.
If you can buff it in other ways and keep them, then it is very good.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking about. If this kept all buffs when recalled, it would be a very crazy card. Because then you can like give it massive permanent buffs and recall and replay it for 2 mana. But it only keeps these stat buffs, these ones here. It doesn't say all, it says these. So it only gets the buffs that it gets from the summon effect. Unfortunately. If it says, when I'm recalled, I keep all buffs, that would be insane. But that's not what it does. So, it's just okay. It's an okay card. It's solid. It's a solid card. Yeah, but if you multiply summon it, it's like you're wasting a lot of resources to multi-summon it, unfortunately. No, it says stat buffs and keywords. It's not just, no, it does keep the keywords, no game of life. And keywords when I'm recalled. Alright. Interesting. Next card. Quicken. 2 mana fast. Recall a unit with 3 or less power. That's not bad. That's not bad at all, dude. See you later, Draven. See you later, Ezreal. See you later. That's pretty solid. Well, actually, Draven can buff himself, but you can get rid of Thresh, send him back to his deck. Like, this is really solid. You can recall enemies. This is a 2 mana Will of Aeonia, as long as it has 3 or less attack. That's super good. That's very, very good. No, you can't recall Zed because he counters that with the 3 mana game +3 attack. In order to run this consistently, you need freezes, I think. Or what? Yeah, mostly freezes. But the way you run this card really well... Oh, Braum. Oh, God. My Braum, dude! The way you run this really, really well is to run in a deck that you want to recall your own units as well. So, if you play this in a deck that uses your own units for recall, it's a lot stronger. Because then it has doubled use. As only a defensive card, It's okay. Zoe Nami. Well, on Zoe, it's a very big tempo loss. On Nami, it's a tempo loss as well. So, it's not great on either one of those. Because you play this on Nami, it goes on stack. She plays 10 spells, it goes back to her hand. And then she gets replayed next turn. So, it doesn't do much for Nami. And Zoe, well, Zoe costs 1 mana. You just bounce her back and he can replay her for 1 mana. No. This is really useful on big units like Thresh. This is huge on Thresh, for example. Alright, next card. Thunder Fist. It's a 3 mana 2/3. Oh, bad stats with impact. When I'm summoned, if you've summoned a Thunder Fist this game, transform me into Massa Crushing Thunder. No, it's not the same because Chirian requires to have another one on board. This one, you just need to play 2 of them. It's way different. This is really good with retreat. This is a solid retreat card. It's a 3 mana retreat. 1 mana bounce in a 5/4. That's quite good. I like that. I mean, they're literally trying to design a... So, here's how I like to think about these things. What are the lore devs saying to us? They're saying, hey guys, we've designed a Shurima Ionia deck. And that's what they balanced this around. Keep that in mind. This entire deck concept has been balanced around the idea of playing with Ionia. So our job as streamer in chat is what, chat? Tell me, what is our job right now? I meant Bandle chat. You know what I meant. Bandle Ionia. Yes, some of you are getting it right. Exactly. Our job is to find a way to build an OP deck with this stuff that's not the obvious Ionia build, because they've already balanced the Ionia build. It's very hard to make an Ionia build with this because it's balanced around being with Ionia. We have to find a way to apply this in a way the devs have not foreseen. That's the hard part. You got to figure out how is this OP in other colors. Shadow Owls is interesting. How does it work with Dawn and Dusk? Will they be ephemerals? Very good question. Would it be ephemeral? Does it carry ephemeral over when it transforms? I think it should. I think so. For some reason, I think it does. But it might not. And Dawn and Dusk only works if it's unleveled. In that sense, if it doesn't... Like, if you copy this, it doesn't transform. I think it does, since it did with Shirian and had ephemeral. Okay, if it did with Shirian, then yeah, it does. Because it's the same exact interaction. Yeah, okay, so yeah, it probably does keep it. Dawn and Dusk is not crazy. So this would actually be stronger if it had Overwhelm, funny enough. Like, Impact is not that strong. This would be so much better with Overwhelm. It's unfortunate it's an Impact keyword and not an Overwhelm keyword. You know what's kind of weird? Here's a question. When it transforms, does it get double Impact? Does it carry over the keyword and get the new keyword and hit Impact too? Nope. Why not? Doesn't carry keywords, but it carries ephemeral, doesn't it? Doesn't say when I'm summoned, grant me Impact. No, it doesn't. It transforms. Guess they didn't make these Ionias, so that multi-region card pool is low. I mean, if they made these Ionias, that would be kind of scary, because then you can do so much more. They made it Shurima, so you're forced to play Ionia, and it's easier to balance around, I think. Suits you? Thank you. It doesn't carry ephemeral, are you sure? We can test that. Does ephemeral carry over? What do you guys think? What is... I'll even check for both keywords. I'll check for all 3 keywords. Let's go Evershade Stalker here. Nothing carried over. Not a single stat carried over. Not ephemeral, not yeah, okay, so nothing carries over. Why test with this card? We just wanted to see if the following interaction, if you play Dawn and Dusk on this, if the ephemeral cards would be they should just grant B5/4s. If I play Dawn and Dusk on this card, we should get 2 5/4s with no ephemeral. So it's a 6 mana, summon 2 of these. Right? Because it's gonna make a Thunder Fist that's ephemeral. It's gonna transform into this, and as it transforms, it loses the ephemeral keyword. What do you mean I'm granting ephemeral, dude? What? It carries granted stats? Alright, let's test that. We're fine. We can test it now. We found him. We're fine. We found him. We're absolutely fine. Help me, chat. Yo.
Another one.
Ramisha! Thank you for the support, Ramisha. Super appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you for supporting us. We're fine. Don't mess it up. I'm just gonna play it first next turn.
You dropped something.
Guys, I'm aware. I'm not that papaya. All right. Now let's see if it carries ephemeral. Because now it's on the left side, right? Here it's innate. It does. Okay. You're right, chat. It actually carries it over. Dawn and Dusk will not work now. It will not interact well with this. What do we have to say about Minion? 2 mana, 2/1, last breath, create a copy of me in hand at round end. I gotta think about this. This is not bad with Mayor. It's really not. It's not amazing. I'm not sure if it sees play. But it's not horrible. Snapvine is viable now? No, it's not. Oh, actually it is. You're right. This can be good for Snapvine. That's a good point. That is a good point. Plus... really? +3/+3 everywhere? That's a bit difficult to pull off on a 1 HP unit, but it's kind of cool. Iceborne Legacy. I'll tell you something about this card. This is not horrible in like a control deck, because in control decks you don't want to have a ton of useless minions, but you also want to have chump blockers, and it's not like horrible, but it also takes up hand space. I'm not sure how to feel about this. My gut instinct is I'm not going to play this card. My gut instinct is this card is not going to see much play. Like, you know when this card is good? This is good versus, like, Vhagar Senna. This card is amazing versus Vhagar Senna. Because on one hand, it blocks their 2-drop, right? Which is very important. You need a 2-attack 2-drop to block it. And on the other hand, you just want to have chump blockers all day, right? Because their units are annoying and they remove your units all the time. So I kind of like this. If you copy this with iterative improvement, it's crazy. Why? It's not an exact copy. If this was exact copy, it would be the best card in the game. If it said create an exact copy of me in hand and end around, it would be literally the best card in the game. But it's not. It doesn't copy buffs in it, so it's kind of pointless in that sense. Iceborne Legacy War Mother with this minion in the deck. Yeah, even a 5/4 is not that crazy. Hard to say. I don't know how I feel about it. I think to really get value out of it, you have to play with Mayor. I think this has to see Mayor to be valuable. Because 1 mana, it's kind of good. Tristana, it's okay. Yeah. I'm just going to give it, I might be missing something rating. It's not amazing, though. I don't really think this will see play. Fading is great on it. I mean, okay, but not really. Slay fodder? Yeah, but I mean, are you really going to use this to, like, eat it with a butcher or something? Just to keep getting copies of it? Like, drop this and, like, consume it? It's 2 mana. If it was 1 mana, it would be... Like, if this was a 1 mana 1/1, I'd be all over that. I'd be like, holy crap, that's a really cool card. But for 2 mana, it's a bit expensive. 2 mana 2/1 is a bit expensive. 1 mana 1/1 would have been amazing. It's just not fast enough. So, I'm not sure. I think it's kind of meh. I have not seen the art of this card before. Is that? I'm trying to figure out how big this thing is. What is the scale? Is that a finger? Somebody's finger? Like, so I don't know whether I should be scared of this or if I should think it's cute. Because on one hand, it reminds me kind of like a scarab, right? Like a mixture of a cockroach and a scarab. And I feel like if I was to listen to how it sounds, it would be like, and then it's scary. On the other hand, it might be a fluffy little fluff ball who is like, meow, meow, meow. You know, so my opinion of this card absolutely depends on the sounds it makes while it eats that little thingamajig it's eating. It absolutely depends on the sounds it makes. Does it sound like a spiderish scarab? Or does it sound like a little cute fluff ball? I don't know. That said, 2 mana 2/3, Attune. That is strong. That's a strong stat line. This begs to be played in Nami decks. 2 mana 2/3 is just amazing. It's a very good stat line with that. With Mayor, yeah, with Mayor it's a free drop. It's like 0 mana basically. This is solid. I like this card quite a bit. It's quite strong. It does a lot of cool things. There was decks back in the day that I used to play a lot of Attune with, and that was my Twisted Fate deck. And the reason I played Attune and Twisted Fate is because you needed to have spell mana available while building a board in order to be able to, 1, defend TF, and 2, have mana for draw cards to level him up faster. And that was really hard to do. It's decent in Fizz decks as well because you want to have mana to cast spells because you don't want to ever be out of spell mana. So overall, this is a very solid card in a lot of decks. I can see this being played in many, many Bilgewater decks. Now, will it see play in Bilgewater aggro? Very hard to say. But even in aggro, like aggro does like having tempo on board. It's not the greatest 2-drop because it doesn't actually do face damage, but it trades with pretty much every other 2-drop, so that isn't that big of an issue. And it gives you that 1 spell mana. It gets you ahead on board. If for example, let's say Bilgewater was a control region, I'd probably play this just as a very good blocker. I like it a lot. I think it's very strong. You can finally play 1-drop, 2-drop, and 3-drop on the first 3 consecutive turns and still get 3 spell mana. That's true. That is true. You could have with Eye of the Dragon. Yeah, Eye of the Dragon does the same thing. And she's 1/3 stats. I mean, Eye of the Dragon, everyone knows, is one of the best cards in Ionia. But the thing with Eye of the Dragon is it cannot kill 2 HP units. So it's not a very good blocker, and this is. On the other hand, it's very good for generating lifesteal. It's a playable for Bandletree, and they can abandon Fizz as a champ card. True. That's very true. That's a very good point, actually. This is very good in Bandletree. Because it does give you the Bilgewater proc that Fizz usually does. So, very good point. Yeah, this card is pretty insane. It's very, very strong. Now, it's not game-breaking, but it's tempo-breaking. Like, it gives you tempo, which is always very good in Legend of Runeterra, especially versus aggro. Because 1 mana 2/3 is it's just what you need. So how do you beat aggro? You beat them by putting more units on board than they can. That's very hard to do because they have like 21 drops. So they just go wide too fast. And if you don't have AoE removal, you'll lose the game because they just do too much damage in too short of a time period. And then they just decimate you and Noxian Fervor you to death out at the end of the game or mid-game. This gives you a chance to maintain tempo with them. Very strong. Not really too much to say, but strong card indeed. And as you say in Bandletree, it's very good because it can actually let you not even play Fizz. You can open up another champion slot if you wanted to. I like it. Last but not least, the Yordle. Yordle Captain. When you summon another ally with equal or less power than me, granted 1/1. I'm not sure how to feel about it. I don't know how to feel about it. I think to really figure it out, we need to look at cards in general. It's really good. In control.
Hope you are ready for the Iceborne Legacy Minion deck, day 1. Cause I'm hella redeeming
Things
that
like,
LMAO.
I could imagine, you know where I could imagine this card seeing play? There's a scary deck where you would want to put this in. You would want to put this in this deck here. Vi with Shellfolk, right? You give Shellfolk 5/7. If Vi can theoretically also get hit by that because you would need to have played 3 cards before that. So let's say you pass turn 1, turn 2. Turn 3, you play a 3-drop. Turn 4, you play the 4-drop. She's only 4 attack. And then all of a sudden you have a 6 HP Vi, which is, well, I'm counting toughness as an HP, but it's really hard to kill Vi at that point. I think this could fit really well in some control decks because you also have to consider you have Poro Cannon in that deck. All of a sudden, all of these are 2/2s, much harder to remove. You have to consider you have like a million of little Otterpusses, which are also 2/2s. So I think in that deck, it's a pretty scary fit because that deck really doesn't have very strong early game, right? It doesn't have and all of its pressure comes after mana 4. The Vi comes after mana 4. The Shellfolk comes after mana 4. You usually save your Otterpusses after mana 4, so it can be scary. Veigar 2/5, yeah, you want to play Veigar on 4, right? I'm thinking what you play after 4. And that seems to be the case. I think it's going to fit well in that deck. Poppy, you want to play her on 4, right? Heimer is a questionable one. It's not bad with Heimer, but it's like you don't really need attack and HP on Heimer that much. It's cool, but it's not amazing. So another case where you want to see that often is in Bandle City decks. I think it's amazing. Absolutely amazing with... Where is she? With Bandle Commando. Bandle Commando Owlcats, that's a scary board to deal with. That's very scary. Because if you have this and you have this, all of a sudden you're generating non-stop ridiculous power. So with Mayor, it's really cool. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't get discounted by Mayor. But either way, in Bandle decks, it's very, very good. Giving Mayor 3/3 is kind of nice if you want to play Mayor after him as well. Defending a 2 HP Mayor is so much harder than a 3 HP Mayor. I like it. I think he'd be very solid in Mayor decks. So, this guy is quite strong. Now, I was thinking maybe something in Shadow Isles. I guess you could consider, like, let's say we go to Shadow Isles really quick. There's a couple of cool interactions. Hecarim, it gives his ephemerals a lot more power. There is to consider the fact that it's really, really decent with, like, Shark Chariots getting more power. It's really good with Elise getting more power. She's not in ephemerals, obviously, but Elise and her Spiderlings get more power. There's a lot of things to consider here. Camavoran Soldier, etc. But overall, I don't think it's going to be in... I mean, even things like Ravenous Butcher, Hapless Aristocrat, there's a lot of cool ones you could approach. I just don't know if you want to splash Bandle City into Shadow Isles. Like, Fading Icon all of a sudden is a 4-2 and a 1-2, right? Like, it's a lot of value. We also have, like, Wraith Callers, which is pretty cool. We have Brood Awakening. I think it could sort of maybe find a way to fit. It's really good with Tenor of Terror, by the way. That's a crazy one. Tenor is really good with this. It's a 2-4 and a 4-2. That's pretty scary. Vile Feast is another point, so Haunted Relic. I could theoretically maybe see that with Callista being a thing. I doubt it, but I could see it. Kindred. No. Anyway, it looks strong to me. People really underestimate how powerful 1 HP is. And if it, like, the stat line is not that bad. 4 mana 4/4 is not that bad. It really isn't. What about lifesteal units in general? Like, lifesteal is pretty nutty with this. So, Eye of the Dragon's amazing with that. Getting 3/2 Dragonlings, you just never you never lose HP at that point. You're healing for way too much with Eye of the Dragon. What else do we have here? Sparklefly is kind of cool, actually, believe it or not. Like a 2/3 Sparklefly, elusive lifesteal. This is aggro's worst nightmare. Aggro suffers just looking at that. I'm not even kidding. I'm serious. Aggro suffers seeing this. Then again, Sparklefly just is too expensive, but still. Kinko Lifeblade is not horrible. Like 4 mana 3/3. I mean, it's still 4 mana, but yeah. You get my drift. Soul Gorger. I like playing George occasionally. Radiant Guardian. The Fangs. Like, all of these are just such big buffs versus aggro. Even, like, Emerald Awakener. Like, let's say I'm playing, like, I don't know, Spooky Karma, and I somehow find a way to fit her into Bandle City. Like, this is a really good 3/3 lifesteal on 3 is, well, not on 3, but like on like mana 5. It's solid defense. That along with Eye of the Dragon, I can see it being solid. I mean, what am I saying? Of course, no, it never fits in Bandle City because Spooky Karma has to be in Shadow Isles, but still, it's a cool thing. It's a cool interaction with lifesteal. Like, there's so many units that love getting 1/1. What else is really strong here in terms of champions? Thresh loves it. Thresh would love to be a 4/7. It's kind of cool with Jarvan. The fact that he jumps out being a 7/5 at burst speed if you open attack. Lissandra, not really. I don't really think Lissandra needs it. Azir is kind of cool. I like Azir there. That's a very cool idea. Azir tokens could be crazy cool. Yeah, that could be very fun. He can't buff J4. Oh, you're right. J4 doesn't get buffed. Never mind. Good point, chat. Zed. Decent. Yeah. It really comes down to one question, like, what plays with Bandle City? Because that guy is mono Bandle City, so you're kind of forced to play into this color. So, what kind of deck are you building? And if you're building control, you really want to go towards the Curious Shellfolk route, because it's one of the best control cards in the game. It's a very strong control archetype. And if it's not that, what are you building? He's not bad in aggro. He's really not. He's a little bit slow for aggro, but like you take like Bandle Tree itself, because this is a bit of a slower win con. And you just build one of those decks that just doesn't go away. You know, you build a deck that you just keep dropping stuff over and over again. You just can't keep up with clearing the board because it has too many units. I can dig that. Now, I don't know how strong it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be broken. I don't personally, I don't want to say I don't think it's going to be broken. But it's not necessarily going to be broken. With Heimer turrets, it's not bad with Heimer. He protects Heimer on 4, but because when you drop Heimer on 5, Heimer all of a sudden goes down with 6 HP, and that's very hard to stop. Sorry, 5 HP, right? Yeah, Heimer goes on with 5 HP, which is very hard to kill. I actually might build a Heimer deck just for that. Especially, it works really well with turrets as well. Like, all of the turrets getting buffed 1-1 is pretty spicy. And a Heimer deck, you can actually play it inside of non-PNZ if you really wanted to, which means you could add Ionia on top of that. And if you're playing Ionia Bandle City, you've got some pretty cool ideas with really good defenses. Because I'm not sure you want to play PNZ. But maybe you could. Maybe you just go PNZ anyway with less defensives. Anyway, very cool card. It could be scary. It could be a bit broken. I'm not sure if it is, though. I look forward to building decks with this. I really do like backline defensive units that add mega value down the line. I think this is a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing it. But this is never a card I'm going to hate. The problem is it's such high value. Like 4 mana, 4 HP is really good. If it was like let's say a 4/3, it would be trash though. So it's very hard to balance it out. I guess a 3/4 would make it different. Also, I wouldn't be shocked if this sees playing in Azir deck. This actually might make Azir good. I'm not even kidding. This could make Azir scary. But I just don't think Azir can fit into Bandle City yet. Alright. That is it, guys, for the... Wait. Have you guys not seen me... Oh my god, I just realized you guys have not seen me swap between this and that. I was moving my mouse around, pointing stuff out, and you guys were staring at the lore screen. God dang it.